Hello everyone. Hope you're hearing me well or not. Let's check here. All right here. Hey everyone, this is Juan Chaparro here today on another live. I'm basically want to touch on a concept that I've been talking for a while now. It's called the Iceberg framework. This is a concept that for some reason just came into my mind, and I wanted to explain how we apply it with hiring and managing employees, because most companies are not doing that, and for that reason they suffer some of the issues of employee retention. So I've noticed this on a lot of the companies that come and try to switch from one software to another, or they're trying to grow their company but they don't know how to do it. So in today's live, I want to touch briefly on this framework. So let's get started. So this is basically today's live. Here's the mentality differences. The hiring only mentality is when somebody just cares about fulfilling the position as soon as possible, but nothing really about long-term thinking. Is more about, we need two bodies to fill in this position. We need somebody quickly. We don't care if it's quality person or not. We just want to have somebody in the door doing the job. So when you do that, you're always hiring without long-term thinking. And what I've noticed is that companies that have a strategy to hire employees and have a long-term view tend to have a better process and better results. So if you're in the fulfilling position only, I want to say please reconsider that, because you're doing yourself a disservice and you're working double. It's always a short-term thinking. And in the case of residential cleaning specifically, this is the worst part. On commercial, you can kind of get away with short-term thinking. But on residential, because these people are entering into people's homes, it's gonna be very it will bother a lot of the clients when you have to rotate employees. So if you're hiring people that are just gonna be here for a few months, it's gonna come and bite you in the back, because you really need to think at least hiring people for 1 year at minimum. And when we're hiring people, we're always telling them, hey, we're looking for people that want to be here at least 1 year as a minimum. So right from the get-go during the interview process, we're basically telling them, we want long-term thinking here. We want committed people. And something I always say to them is, hey, we are committing to you to give you work, and we want commitment back from you. Meaning that you're going to be here every day and you're going to do the job every day. And I always tell them, this is a relationship, or we need to trust each other, that we're going to give you work, and that you're going to show up to the job every day. So it's very important that you set from the get-go this level of trust and confidence. Otherwise, they're going to start thinking that you have a lot of work that you're going to assign to them immediately. But we always tell them, it's going to take us 2 to 4 weeks to get you a full schedule. And this is really connected to the trust that we have in you. And that's, basically what we tell them. So this gives them a perspective that if they want to have a good job, they better show up every day and they're committed, because this is really a commitment job, versus other jobs that you can just suddenly quit and go anywhere else. But this is really a position that we really want you to be here. Also, the hiring only mentality thinks only that is just needed. That's the only thing that a company needs to do. But the reality is that they forget the retention component and the management component, which is what makes the hiring effort pay its dividends. So when we switch to the iceberg mentality or framework, we understand that hiring is the first thing towards another steps. It's just the tip of the iceberg. Think of it obviously an iceberg, and you will see what's above the water. That is basically right here I have the image. Hiring is the part that's on top. Is what you don't see, is what the Titanic saw, but they forgot what's underneath. What's underneath the water is the management and retention components, which is what's gonna sink the ship if you let it hit you underneath. So management is more important than hiring. Clearly, you need to hire people in order to manage them. But when you hire people, you think of hiring is just a first step, but there's more down the line, which is managing people. And when we refer to managing people, this is exactly what I refer to. You have to check that they are being taken care of. And this is like keeping track of birthdays, keeping track of their anniversaries, keeping track of our days off, PTO, vacation time, tracking compliments, sharing with them exactly what clients are saying about them, positive or negative. It's about doing events every quarter or every 2 months where you teach them things, where you show them. For example, we used to do when the houses were affordable back probably in 2018, 17, we used to do how to buy your first home type of events, how to repair your credit, how to do this. And we will bring us a person into our office and share with them these type of things. After a couple of months, 6 months or so, some employees started to buy their first homes. Back then, a house in Dallas was $150,000. It was pretty affordable. Now those homes are probably in the $300,000 or $400,000. So it's crazy how things went up. But the point is that the management is really like the sheep and the shepherd. You have to protect them, take care of them, nurture them, help them to get more than the paycheck. People are not just happy with a paycheck anymore. They're happy with more than a paycheck, especially when you're hiring people that are 25, and 35 in range. People that are older, probably in the 45, 55 range, they're, another generation. They don't expect as much. They expect a good paycheck and they're happy. But the younger crowd expects better, expects more. So you want to basically think about it as a 3-stage process. The hiring is really about getting the right ads, getting the right copy, the job offer is correct, getting everything that is related to selling the job, attracting people to your website. But that's the first step. The first step is really just the hiring component, and obviously making them sign the documents, train them, onboarding, all that component. But the way that you're gonna keep people longer is when they now feel the management part, when they feel like, oh wow, this company is just not a paycheck. They really go above and beyond for us. I've seen companies that have people that go and do many pedicures to some companies. They bring 5 people, 4 people, and they all do their nails and all of that for the women, and that is part of the management and also retention. Why? Because one thing leads to another. A good management leads to higher retention. High retention, in my opinion, is between 3 to 5 years. Is considered high retention in the in service companies or trades companies. In other positions, more office positions, obviously that's normal. But because workers have now so many options these days, they can do Uber, they can do DoorDash, they can do Amazon Flex, they can do so many other jobs. They just using an app, they get to work. That's when our companies have to provide more than just a paycheck, more than just a payment. So I encourage you to think on these 3 stages. Now, how do you execute this? Most of the time, people are using Google Forms or ClickUp Forms, or just a simple upload a resume to apply to a company. But the hiring part has to be done in conjunction with a process. If you have set a process of screening, automating, inviting to interviews, all of this leads to a better experience for the applicants. Nowadays, employees expect better experiences. Before COVID, we could treat them like we wanted to. Don't matter what we did, they were okay, they just needed a job. After COVID, and obviously with a newer generation entering the workforce, they expect more. They're accustomed to better treatment, to better kind of like a white glove service type of thing. So you want to make sure that your hiring process, all your HR component, is really smooth, very streamlined, and it has to look prepared. It has to look the part. It cannot be just like, hey, just fill this paper application, we'll call you. It doesn't work that way anymore. People are expecting that they apply, they get some text messages, some reminders, yeah, your appointment has been booked. All of those things are critical for the experience. So I encourage you to really think through your hiring process. I have a good customer of mine called Josh Melton. He runs Aiton's cleaning commercial company. He moved from Google Forms to PipeHire because he was running his entire HR process in Google Forms. Think about it. I mean, Google Forms is a pretty simple way to use it, but in reality, he needed a better solution. So, the hiring component has to look professional. Now, how do you keep track of the management of attendance, the birthdays, anniversaries? Most companies are using spreadsheets. Yeah, that works. Spreadsheets works for anything really, but the reality is that you will forget to eventually enter a birthday. You will forget to enter a date of birth. You will forget. Spreadsheets are not meant to keep track of progress on projects. Spreadsheets are meant to calculate numbers and get reports. But on a day-to-day basis, the spreadsheet is really hindering people because it's just there, it's static. On PipeHire, we offer the option for you to upload your employees, and we'll track their birthdays, their anniversaries, just by providing us the birthdays and this is the date of births and when they started to work for your company. This really makes it so easy for companies like Moreno Cleaning, one of our clients in California. They have around 250 employees. Think about it. How many birthdays do you have in a month? It's incredible. There's birthdays almost every single day. There's 365 days a year, and now you have just 250 employees. So think about it. There's pretty much a birthday every day. So the only way to keep up with that growth is to have a system that's reminding you and that you can share congratulations on the actual system. So we help you with all of that. You just have to basically upload your employees and we'll help you do that. And now the retention part is really about that last part of how the whole process, how your whole office the sales part, the payments, the payroll, the experience of the company, the events, the gatherings, all of these things are really how this is engaging the employee from kind of a 360 view. When all of this is in place, the employees feel different, that this is a different company. So I want you to rethink this process, and that's it. I mean, this is basically the Iceberg framework. I hope it has helped you. Just think about it every time that you're going to hire. I'm just going for a quick win. I just need a quick body to do the job, or I'm looking for a long-term process, a long-term retention. And the long-term retention is what really leads to longer customer retention, because there's no so much employee turnover. So a good process in your hiring leads to higher employee retention and leads to customer retention. So that's it. Just wanted to share this quickly with you guys. Please reach out to us if you have any questions. Happy to help you in Spanish or in English. We're there to help you with your hiring needs for your service company. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next Thursday. I'll try to make it 10 a.m. on time, but the important part is to do it. So see you guys on next week. Bye-bye.